In an ordinary apartment complex, two families live side by side. Different lives, different routines, but remarkably similar circumstances. Aida, she is a single mother. For years, she has raised her son Sawa on her own. Her strength shows not in grand gestures, but in small, consistent acts of care early mornings, prepared meals, and a steady presence that gives her son a sense of security. Next door lives Linda, another single mother navigating a similar path. Her days are often long, stretching late into the evening because of work. Like many parents trying to balance responsibility and love, she carries a quiet concern with her wherever she goes. She wants her son, Takeshi, to feel safe, even when she can't always be there herself. Linda always trusted Aida, and so, whenever work keeps her away, Linda entrusts Aida with something precious, keeping an eye on Takeshi. For Takeshi, life is experienced through a simpler lens. He is an open-hearted, energetic child who finds joy in moments others might overlook. The highlight of his day isn't a toy or a screen, but the time he spends with Sawa. Every afternoon he waits, listening for footsteps, hoping Sawa will appear so they can play, laugh, and escape into their own small world. These moments don't just fill time. They give Takeshi a sense of belonging. What makes this story compelling isn't conflict, but contrast. Two apartments, two mothers, two children, separate lives that slowly begin to overlap through routine and trust. Meals are sometimes shared, not out of obligation, but convenience and comfort. Conversations happen casually, often about ordinary things, yet they carry an unspoken understanding. Laughter travels through the hallway, softening the edges of long days and quiet worries. There is nothing flashy here, and that is precisely the point. This is a reminder that human connection doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it grows through consistency, reliability, and simple kindness. As we watch this story unfold, we're invited to reflect on something important. Strength isn't always loud, and support doesn't always come from grand promises. Often, it comes from the people closest to us in the most ordinary moments of everyday life. Aida doesn't see herself as doing anything extraordinary. To her, keeping an eye on Takeshi while preparing dinner or reminding him to wash his hands feels natural, almost instinctive. She recognizes the familiar look in Linda's eyes, the same mixture of responsibility and worry she once carried herself. Linda, on the other hand, starts to breathe a little easier during her long workdays. Knowing that her son is safe nearby doesn't remove her responsibilities, but it lightens the emotional weight she carries. For the children, this growing connection feels effortless. Sawa has grown used to sharing his space, his toys, and even his snacks. There is no sense of obligation, only curiosity and companionship. Takeshi follows his lead, learning small lessons along the way: how to take turns, how to listen, how to lose and still smile. Their laughter becomes a familiar sound, echoing softly through the hallway, signaling moments of joy that require no explanation. What stands out is how ordinary everything looks from the outside. No one would stop and point to these apartments as something special. Yet inside, something meaningful is being built. Shared meals become a regular occurrence, sometimes planned, sometimes spontaneous. Conversations drift from daily routines to quiet reflections about parenting, work, and the small hopes each mother holds for her child. Aida listens more than she speaks, and Linda appreciates this deeply. There is no judgment here, no comparison, only mutual respect. Each woman sees the other not as someone to depend on, but as someone to stand alongside. In these small, everyday interactions, something larger begins to take shape, a sense of stability, connection, and quiet resilience that neither family could have created alone. Over time, the quiet balance they've built is gently tested, not by conflict, but by the natural pressures of everyday life. Linda's schedule runs later than usual. Messages are brief, rushed, filled with apology more than explanation. Aida reads between the lines. She knows that feeling well. Aida prepares an extra portion at dinner, setting another plate at the table without thinking twice. Takeshi eats alongside Sawa, talking excitedly about school and small victories that feel enormous at his age. The boys argue briefly over a game, then resolve it just as quickly, learning cooperation in a way no lecture could teach. Aida watches quietly, recognizing how these moments shape them more than any structured lesson ever could. Linda realizes she's not alone in carrying the weight of responsibility. Aida, too, feels seen not as someone strong who never struggles, but as someone allowed to rely on another. For the children, this moment passes unnoticed, and that's exactly why it matters. To them, this is normal, safety, continuity. The idea that adults can cooperate calmly, that care doesn't have to be dramatic or conditional. These experiences quietly shape how they understand relationships, trust, and community. Both women begin to see that what they've built together is more than convenience. It's a shared foundation, not dependence, but partnership, not sacrifice, but mutual respect. As the night settles, laughter briefly returns soft, unforced, genuine. It's a reminder that stability isn't about eliminating challenges, but about facing them with support. Life doesn't become easier overnight, but it becomes more manageable when people choose to look out for one another. As time passes, the two households find a steady rhythm built on trust and shared care. What once felt heavy becomes lighter through quiet support. Sometimes, the most meaningful stories are not built on dramatic events, but on simple moments of kindness. In a world that often moves too fast, small acts of care can create lasting bonds and make everyday life brighter for everyone involved. If you found value in this story, consider liking the video and sharing it with someone who appreciates meaningful, real-life moments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more thoughtful stories that inspire connection, understanding, and positivity. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.